exactly is the Jewish soul, and what is the purpose of chosen people? We've dabbled on that a little bit, and we haven't dealt with the concept. Sometimes the concept makes us Jews uncomfortable, sometimes it makes non-Jews uncomfortable. Chosen people means chosen for a purpose, for a particular purpose that God has designated for a particular group of people in the world. The best resource for this are the writings of Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, a 19th century author. For those of you interested out there, really should research his writings. I am going to go merely to the essence and the core of that, and some of his ideas, some of the ideas of other people. The purpose of being chosen is to be like the priests of old, who served as the teachers and the coaches of the Jewish people. We Jews are supposed to be the teachers and the coaches of all of the world. Now, most Jews are not that way, and most Jews are barely hanging on, just trying to earn a living, although some are very, very, very successful. So what exactly does the chosenness mean? It means that we have been designated to live our lives in accordance to a certain set of instructions, and by doing so, we hallow and sanctify the world. And by our example, we can let other people also learn to hallow and sanctify the world through their efforts. Now, if we have the ultimate truth, which is the Torah, why did God just give the Torah to the Jewish people? I'm going to go and explain this in several levels and see if we can't make some kinds of conclusion. The first approach is that the connection with God was something that all of mankind could have in the origin of mankind, but only a handful of people decided that they wished to deal with the one God, and first of all find the one God and to obey and to observe the one God's rules after God revealed God's self to them. And they were Abraham and his family, Isaac and his family, Jacob and his family. These were the people who sought out the ultimate reason for creation, the ultimate cause for creation, understood it, pursued it, till finally God revealed God's self to them. And as a result of their persistence, God gave a special relationship that was to their children forever, that their children would automatically have that relationship if they so desired and chose it. Other people, if they want the desire, what they desire to have a relationship with God, must do what Abraham did, to seek out God and to pursue it diligently until God reveals God's self to them. But today, no one need to wait for revelation. The revelation is there in the Torah. What does God demand from most people? Very, very simple lessons. God demands that we be humble, that we recognize that God is the creator of the universe, that everything is there by God's divine providence, that God runs the world through kindness and compassion, that we must be kind and compassionate, and we must be just and fair with others, and we must not be cruel to animals or to the environment. Environmentalism is not holiness. Environmentalism is a part of good stewardship of the world that God has given us, but it's not a purpose. And the problem is that it has become a purpose unto itself. Environmentalism by itself could be idol worship, because you look at the environment as an entity that you have to worship, rather than see this as a God's gift to us. At any rate, we have to look at the world and see the world as a gift from God, and preserve that gift and share the gift with all of humanity and with God's creatures, to make sure that they should be alive and they should be functioning so that they can serve mankind. So what is it that the Jewish people have that other people don't have? So first of all, we sought out God. We have this special relationship with God that others did not do. So all other nations should take the example of Abraham and seek out what is the truth of existence, what happens in the creative process. There is one God. There is only one God who creates us all, has compassion for all of us and all of life. And one should behave and learn and take the lesson from Abraham and do what one can to make this world a better world. When one does so, one is beginning to emerge spiritually, as did the Jewish people 3,700 years ago. Now, because we have 3,700 years in advance of other peoples, because of that, we have enjoyed this special relationship with God so that we can understand God's laws a little bit better, a little bit clearer. We have more commandments and more direct involvement with God's will. That doesn't mean other people can't do that. Other people can, first on the limited basis which is called the 7 Noachide commandments, and if so, one desires, one can. If one is convinced that one wants to do that, one can become a convert to the Jewish people. But that's only if you want to, and if you pursue this and only want this for yourself. If you don't want it, nobody ever forced anything on anyone else. That's the first position. Second position is found in the writings of Maimonides, and that is that there are very different levels of understanding things. Low-level understanding, I'm hungry, I have to find food. So let's see where there's food. Oh, that looks good. Let me see if that's food, and I'll go try to get it. That's animal understanding. The understanding of the human being is rational, abstract thought. That's different from any animal. But in order to really understand abstract thought and to understand its implications, to understand all about God, because God is the ultimate abstraction, in order to reach this level, which we call prophecy, by the way, that's really what prophecy is. Prophecy is a clear understanding of the creator of the universe. So much so that you're able to understand how God made this world and understand the relationship between God's wisdom and everything else that exists in this world. And that process is the process of wisdom, which ultimately leads to abstract wisdom, which leads to prophecy. In order to get there, you have to be a master of yourself, because if you're an emotional cripple, you can't understand things truly the way they are. And so, in order to become a master of yourself, a master of your emotions, you have to be in balance and in harmony. You can't be too cruel or too soft. You have to be a person who's compassionate, but at the same time has rules. You can't be too brave or too wimpy. You have to be able to face danger, but not be stupid and go out without a bulletproof vest where people are shooting. You have to understand that you have to preserve your life. At the same time, you have to be willing to put your life on the line when it's necessary. A person has to be a good person, a kind person, at the same time shouldn't be a softie, and anybody can take anything they want from you. So you have to learn a balance. How do you get to be balanced? The true teachings of balance are found in the Torah. And therefore, since the Jewish people were given the Torah and received the Torah and practiced the Torah, those who practice the Torah exactly as it says, Maimonides says, you become a master of your emotions, and by becoming a master of your emotions, you're then able to understand the secrets of God, the secrets of the abstract wisdom, which ultimately leads to prophecy. So no matter how smart you are, intelligent you are, if you're an emotional cripple, you're never going to get to true abstract thought and understanding unless you go ahead and deal with yourself and your character. And that's the reason why Maimonides says the Greeks, who were the greatest philosophers of the times, and even unto his times, were like people who had the internal keys to God's treasures, but they didn't have the external keys to get into the palace. The external keys to the palace are the teachings of the Torah that teach us how to be balanced and how to learn to control yourself while at the same time you're not hurting yourself. And this is the process of becoming a person who's in charge of his emotions, not a person who hurts himself, but a person who's healthy emotionally and happy and is able to then understand the great thoughts. And so, how can a person become knowledgeable in God? Become a master of self. But if you want to become a master of yourself, you have to have a great teacher. What greater teacher is there than God himself, who taught us the Torah? That's why